Man, the Titans were determined. They boarded the plane, went out to L.A. and said, no Derrick Henry, no problem. They walloped the Rams. And look, Tennessee wasn't great on offense. They had less than 200 total yards, but Matthew Stafford gifted a couple of big first-half interceptions, including a pick six. And the Titans roll. No Derrick Henry, no problem. Adrian Peterson fills in. 10 carries for 21 yards isn't going to get anybody all excited. Did find pay dirt on a touchdown run. But as I said, it was just more than enough. The Rams really didn't do much on offense. I know it says Cooper Kupp had 11 receptions for 95 yards, but if you blinked, you missed it. That's the quietest 11 catches in the history of the NFL. Really, nothing going on. In fact, the lone Ram touchdown came in the final seconds when the game was way out of reach. This was not even as close as the score. The Titans are 7-2. All right, our guys are in. Jonathan Jones, Ryan Wilson. JJ, I'll start with you. The Titans, they're 5-0 as an underdog. They're 6-0 against playoff teams last year. Derrick Henry gets hurt. We don't care. Their whole cornerback room basically got decimated. We don't care. How are they doing it?
It's a great question. They're doing it because they're able to control the football. They're doing it because they're able to handle the opposing team on defense. And tonight, what we saw from them was a continuation of what we had seen the past couple of weeks, where they beat the Bills and Josh Allen, where they beat Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, where they beat Carson Wentz, who had been playing well, but fooled him into a couple of key mistakes. What we saw tonight with Matthew Stafford, a couple of key mistakes. That pick six, a would-be pick six right before that, that wound up punching it in there. That was the difference in the game because, EK, you mentioned it. It's not like Ryan Tannehill set the world on fire. It's not like this entire offense was out there 300 yards of total offense, 400, 500. It was less than 200 yards. That interception right there set up a very short scoring drive, and then that interception right there set up, that's the scoring drive. And that's the difference in the game right there. Don't throw it.
Yeah, that defense basically put 14 points on the board.
That's it.
I know one was a pick six and the other you got tackled on the 2-yard line. That's essentially a touchdown. That's 14 points from a defense. And then they basically just said, okay, now we're going to shut you down the rest of the way. They still don't have Derrick Henry, though, when you look at this, Ryan. Adrian Peterson, what'd you think of his performances? Can they live with the running back room they have right now?
Well, Adrian Peterson had 10 carries for 21 yards. That's what you might expect for a 36-year-old who hasn't been doing a whole bunch. I don't know if he's going to get a lot better over the course of the next 2 months, but I think what you have to hope for, EK, is that in January, Derrick Henry is healthy and ready to go, because what we've seen him do in previous Januaries is drag the opponent up and down the field for 45 minutes and will the Titans still win. But I think the biggest takeaway for me in the meantime, and this is something we could not say last year, and the year before that we had trouble saying it as well, the Titans defense is actually playing really well. They're the reason they won this game. It wasn't because of the offense. Obviously, Derrick Henry wasn't there. Ryan Tannehill was okay, but the defense stepped up. We talked about the turnovers. They were getting after it. Jeffrey Simmons had 3 sacks. Nico Audrey had a sack and a half. Harold Landry had a half a sack. Bud Dupree was getting after it and pressuring the quarterback. And all those things together made Matthew Stafford look like he was still playing for the Lions and not the guy that was playing for the Rams at an MVP level. So I think that's the takeaway for me. And we say this all the time for teams that don't have Patrick Mahomes when he's red hot. You have to have balance on both offense and defense, and that's exactly what this Titans team has. And oh, by the way, they play in a terrible division. So as you said earlier, EK, the division feels like it's over. Now it's just a matter of positioning yourself if you're the Titans, who, by the way, are the number 1 seed here in the AFC.
All right, so let me be the lawyer for the Titans, the president of the Titans fan club. And let me try to convince you that this is the team most likely to go to the Super Bowl of any of the teams in the NFL. We're in a terrible division. We've won the division, basically. We can get healthy. We can wait for Derrick Henry. And can you imagine what it's going to be like when Derrick Henry and fresh legs is going up against banged up, beat up defenses when it matters late in the year? Plus, our defense is better than we get credit for. And don't tell anybody. We are exceptionally well coached. We make smart plays, we make good decisions, and we're tested and tough. We win as an underdog. We don't care. We're 5-0. We beat good teams. We are 6-0 against teams that made the playoffs last year. You're worried about Buffalo? We beat Buffalo. You like the Rams? We beat the Rams. We are a team that is on the come, that is going to get healthy at the right time, that can be patient in this bad division, and we are better than you think. We are Ryan Tannehill personified. We are better than you think. You don't give us enough credit. And oh, by the way, Ryan Tannehill has a better passer rating than Patrick Mahomes since Ryan Tannehill took over in Tennessee. The Titans, given that schedule and that division, are the best team, the most likely team to go to the Super Bowl because the NFC is going to all knock each other off. JJ, who's coming with me?
I can't go with you to the Super Bowl just yet.
Okay.
I love everything you said, and I will go right up to the AFC title game with you. Because I look at this Titans team and also look at their schedule that we just had up there. And they still have the Texans and the Jags on their schedule before they finish with the Niners, the Dolphins, and the Texans. That's 12-13 wins right there, and we're not even talking about any of the other games. We're not even talking about that Steelers game. We're not talking about the Patriots in Week 12. They're going to have a fantastic bye. We're talking about Derrick Henry getting healthy for that January push. They're going to have that perfectly placed Week 13 bye at the beginning of December to get all their guys healthy, and then they can sort of settle them down in early January when they have the AFC South locked up, or maybe they're playing for the 1 seed there. So I can go up to the AFC title game with you, and I know that they just beat the Buffalo Bills 34-31. I know that. And I know the Buffalo Bills just lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. But I do think if you rolled the football out there next week between the Buffalo Bills and the Tennessee Titans, I would take the Buffalo Bills.
That's not, I did my best. And by the way, I agree with you. But I always, try to flush this out. Can I get you to sign for it and say that a team that lost to the Jets is the most likely team to go to the Super Bowl right now, and that's Tennessee Titans?
Right. The Jets was going to be my talking point. The Zach Wilson-led Jets. That's for producer Lucas, because I know he's a big Zach Wilson guy. But here's the thing, and JJ talked about the schedule. It feels like this team, the Tennessee Titans, have learned from that Jets loss. Yeah, they had both the receivers out during that game. We've established that injuries are not an excuse at this point. They've learned from that Jets game. They bounced back in a big way against the Bills. They bounced back in a big way against the Rams tonight. And I think they will continue to bounce back as they go through the course of the schedule, because they are not a team that plays as front runners, EK. They are a team that plays with a chip on their shoulder, whether it's there or not. And they feel like the Rodney Harrison Patriots of old, where no matter what, they had a reason to be upset about something. And I feel like that's how they take every game when they hit the field. I expect them to continue to dominate. JJ mentioned 12 or 13 wins. That seems reasonable. And by the way, if you get that first round bye, that's one more week for Derrick Henry to get healthy. And I don't know who's going to run them down. It ain't going to be the Chiefs. We know that.
Here's the thing. They are still plus 600 to win the AFC. That means it's a 14% chance to win the AFC. They're better than 14% to end up in the Super Bowl in the AFC to me anyway. I mean, I'll take them at plus 600. I don't want them to win the Super Bowl. I want the odds for them to get there.
Yeah.
And that is plus 600, and I think that is the best value right now on the board of any team that I could possibly look at. Now, we also had the Rams. They were not good. They've gotten walloped at home by Arizona and walloped at home by the Tennessee Titans. I know we talk about the fact that home field advantage doesn't matter much. Oh, by the way, Super Bowl, they would be at home. Anyway, does this game change your perception on the Rams, or do you just go, 17 of these bad boys, a couple times you're going to get rolled?
Yeah, it's that. And it's that because the Matthew Stafford interceptions and the mistakes that he made that I don't think Matthew Stafford is going to be making every single game in and game out. He had the bad interception right there when he's at the goal line, and you can say, oh, he actually, forward progress would have kept him, had the ball at the 1. He doesn't know that. He's standing 3 yards in the end zone. He's going to think this is at least going to be a safety. Let me throw the football somewhere in the middle of the field, because it can't be grounding. That'll be 2 points. Let me go ahead and throw it right there. All right, well, that wound up resulting in 6 points for the Tennessee Titans. And the pick six, that was just a bad ball. He wants that ball back. He knew it as soon as he threw it. Everybody on the sideline knew it. The Tennessee Titans knew it, and they already had their hands up. That's a touchdown. He wants those 2 balls back. If he gets those 2 balls back, it's a completely different ball game. Now, I say that when 90% of NFL games are decided by 3 or so plays. This game was decided by 2 plays, and it were those 2 plays, and they fell on Matthew Stafford. What I'm saying is that out of 17 games, EK, to your point, 2, 3 of those are not going to break your way. And about 10 of those are going to break your way. And we've seen it the last couple of years with the Kansas City Chiefs, for example, living on that razor's edge, and it worked out for them the last 2 years. It's not working out for them this year. For the Rams, I think ultimately it will, it will work out for them on the whole. Tonight, it did not.
No, that's right. I mean, that's the thing. And you have to understand that Matthew Stafford, for as good as he's been, and Sean McVay's offense, for as good as he's been over the course of his career, he had a clunker. That's what happened. And sometimes we talk about Tom Brady not always being perfect. Go back to last year's playoff game against Green Bay. They should have lost that game. He threw 3 interceptions. No one's talking about that now because we know what Tom Brady did in the Super Bowl and what he's done throughout the entirety of his career. So I'm not worried about this long term. They laid an egg on national television, at home, all things you don't want to do. But we shouldn't sleep on the Titans. I think what this means going forward for the Rams, they lost to the Cardinals, and now they've lost to the Titans. That's nothing to be ashamed of. And you continue to build on what you had the previous 2 months, and you look forward to doing that same thing. And you sort of go from there. Okay, I'm not worried about the Rams. Obviously, they're going to be a playoff team because of the way the NFC is situated. The question is, are they going to catch Arizona? Can they catch Green Bay? Can they catch Tampa Bay? I'm not so sure about that, so they got to figure out ways to win once they get into the
Come on, neither of you are going to overreact and be a prisoner of the moment like every other, stupid show where they yap and whatever just happened is the only thing that could possibly happen going forward. See, this is why I like this. It's smart, it's thoughtful, and it goes forward and realizes that you're never as good as you are on your best day or as bad on your worst day, which is why we always win when we help you make your selections day in, day out. We also help you fantasy-wise, too. Let's take a look. All right, here you go. Titans, top performers. This is not a particularly good-looking board right now. And I'm not talking about the mug shots. They're very nice-looking gentlemen. I'm talking about the stats. It's not wonderful. Ryan Tannehill got in the end zone once. Adrian Peterson had a brutally bad night, except for he had a 1-yard touchdown run. A.J. Brown had some drops. Caught less than his 11 targets. Julio Jones still hasn't scored as a Titan. And, Jeff Swain could walk malls in the car across the country. And people are going to know who he is. As for the Rams, Cooper Kupp, I mentioned, he had the quietest 11 catches ever. I really can't remember his name getting called much.
I don't.
I looked at it, it was 11? Okay, fine. Darrell Henderson did a lot of damage early, and then it sort of, the game script got away from him because they were down, and they really moved the football. Robert Woods helped you with 7 for 98. He was the leading receiver in the game. Tyler Higbee had a touchdown call back because he was about an inch out of the end zone. Otherwise, that line would look a lot better.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.